Welcome, everybody. I'm your host, Jaami, to our first episode, Proverbs 27:17, Iron Sharpen Iron.
I
And I
guess
don't know.
he ain't gonna introduce me, but hey, look, hey, I appreciate Jaami for bringing me onto his platform. Some people call me from time to time, and it's gonna be kind of like a collaboration once we kind of get him up and going. But I thought this was needed because we've known each other for almost 13, 14 years easy, right?
Correct.
And you probably knew me, my alter ego, even though we didn't directly cross paths. You knew what I was before I became, I guess, whatever YouTube thinks I am. And actually, you probably would have known about me even before I first went on Blog Talk because I was in your area. You just didn't know.
Correct.
So a lot of people, but since I started doing what I do now for, I don't even know if I just try to help people out. And we met through a unique way. So we'll get to that in another episode. But today, like many days, I called you because somebody called me. And it bugs me because I told Jaami, I said, if people can't see me, if they can't see what actually is it that moves me, then I haven't done a good job. So, I don't, I don't think it's about me, but if they can't see that some other force, whatever people want to think, whatever they follow, whatever their so-called spiritual path or religious path is, if they can't see that something else worked with me through this process, I haven't done a good job. And so I say, let me let everybody know about you. I got to do the thing with Rev. There's other people who walk with me during my journeys because you saw me at a high and a very low. And then you found out about a very low later on. So I want to, kind of tell about what you do for me, and so that I can help everybody else understand that the journey is what allowed me to get through some of this stuff ain't had nothing to do with me at all. I might just be the vessel or the moving part, but help me explain that to people, bro.
So let me ask you a question. So through our journey, this almost 10 plus 15 years, what would you say through the thing that everyone reaches out to you for and your skill set and what you become familiarized with doing for yourself and being an example, what would you say that has been the thing that you've outside of that people don't get to hear those conversations, like you said, rail and the multiple other people that you've been connected with throughout your journey, that you have those private moments and opportunities to have conversation with, like we're having now. It's just always it's not recorded, but we do have them. So what do you say has been vital for you through those conversations? Like how's that help you?
With you, it's just been, you could guide me. It's like with Rev, you could guide me or tell me, you will say something and, bless your brother. When I told you, I don't know how I say what I say, but your brother knew exactly how it came to me. And, when I talk to you and Rev, I'm real flawed. And I tell everybody, I'm a very flawed individual.
Right.
And I used to wonder, why would a flawed person like me have this unique sort of not only skill set, I know their gifts. Why was I granted the gifts? And to do this when they should belong, I would think it belonged to somebody so much more apt to reach more people. But I just think what I gained from it is just having somebody to talk to and to point me somewhere that will help me go and look into it, do my own study, try to, you do my own prayer. You the first one to talk to me about Nicodemus. So it don't matter who you are, somebody needs somebody. Even the Messiah prayed. And people,
right.
So I mean, I just think that having people who could push me or move me in the right direction or move me in a direction is the only thing that would have helped me survive, because there's a whole different one to me. I am a soldier at the end of the day. I was at one time. I don't think that ever leaves you, or the capacity to do what a soldier has a capacity to do.
I think
You
what I think what was unique about summer, well, even how I passed cross, but like you said, that'll be another episode for that. But the uniqueness of the things that you studied, your background, and I always was intrigued with when you shared with me that, I'll say I always forget, but biblical law is what is that one?
biblical law and common law supersedes all law. Christianity is custom, and custom is law. Yeah.
Right. And then even uh accustomed to when we was, we sometimes talk to several people at times and you get me and say, hey, I think you need to talk to Jaami. You
Don't
need
say several. It's been more than several.
it's we don't lost count.
Yeah.
So and
Several too like too few.
yeah, and so but the conversation, like you said, a lot of them didn't know that, the old English aspect and the Bible, King James version specifically. And when you said that to me, and then I thought, and I didn't think it was nothing unique, but that was, and I'm like, why? What didn't make me go to Amplify? What didn't make me go to NIV? And why did I just take to the King James version and use that Bible to study, to have my first experiences of breaking Genesis open and beginning to just read and not really understanding how hard of a read that is, you know? But I think by me doing that and studying to show myself approved and becoming familiar with it, that once I start getting the downloads of that, through our paths crossing and we start speaking in conversation, because a lot of times stuff that you deposit and you just come up. It's just like we say that scripture say, don't worry what to say in our hour, it'll be given to you. So I liken it to having how the algorithm just pulls something up. So, and what's pulled up be based off of the conversation that's going on. And it ain't like you have no notes or nothing, but what's needed for whoever is in the conversation or pertaining to whatever that situation is, that same way you can cite case law, statutes, the scripture come up for me in the same manner. And I think, and then also the connection of scripture, that became me and your connection, I think it, because you'd be like, Jaami, what's that? The same way we lean to you. Hey man, oh, that's such and such and such. Boom, 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 boom. You ain't reading off nothing, you just spitting it out. Boom, boom, boom. Same way when you gotta go and stand for yourself and you just cite stuff without looking at the paper, just come out. So the scripture be the same way for me as well. But I think that's where a lot of our connections start coming. And then that becomes it's like a spiritual compass. And it's empowerment because it started giving you structure or giving you some insight into, what's going on, bring you to awareness. Um, just, that the iron sharpen iron, that's what the word, that's what it does for me, and I think that's why our conversations be leaning towards building one another up. When you're talking and you're doing consults with people or you're sharing with them your experience and, your paths and what you're going through, we building each other up, iron sharpening iron at that time. So, and I think it become like a sharing, my depthness and awareness in the scripture, yours and your area familiar, and some of that it seemed like it's a marriage. It meets each other.
Well, I know when you asked me, I said, the thing that made reading the law easier for me, I think without a doubt, there's a gift that something was granted to me because I should tell you, sometimes I don't know how it comes to me. It just comes to me.
Mm.
And I get up, I read texting me. It would just come to me, especially when I was going through that difficult time that you didn't know about.
Right. That you didn't share.
I didn't share with anybody. The thing, I'm gonna send this to Rev. He's gonna pop on it. It was like I'll let him tell his own background because I gotta send this thing to him. I was going through a lot, and not just with that. That was probably the most. I don't want to say significant. It was definitely would have been had the outcome been different.
Mm-hmm.
But what it was is the Brad would send me scriptures, and people who don't know, I do go to Bible study. People didn't know, and our Bible study was never in the building. Rebs is in the building, and then there was like what your brother told me brought a lot of it back, because I in and out of from my academics to what I have to study or what I go and look into from time to time. And I don't want to say I use the Bible for the edge, because you've heard me in my many court appearances, which the people who will hear this may not know. I've been in court a whole bunch of times. I say it on my show, but you're aware of all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you even heard me use the Bible and every now and then,
Absolutely.
and just it may be a part of my natural flow. But let's see.
We should have been recording is when we had Michael on the phone. That was in the raw conversation of it. Now he's absent. Even the other guy, when he said he was listening to the videos and he heard God, he said God was speaking through you. Just a few days ago.
Oh, talking about macadamia.
I don't know what the man name was. He got a podcast, not macadamia.
No. He don't have a podcast. It's macadamia.
Nah. The brother that was calling,
Not your
that's
son macadamia. I have my own macadamia.
okay. Is macadamia the one who was talking about the documentaries? That's who that was.
Yeah, and the one who said he didn't know that. Talking about the one who didn't know that you and I even had this kind of relation. He didn't know that I even have any biblical knowledge, which is
Hold on, we're not talking about the young man. You talking about the young guy? Him?
Yeah.
I ain't talking about him. You don't remember the other guy you had me on the phone and UB came on as well? And he said he did documentaries. And he had court the next day.
Oh, he had court today, in fact. Yes, the dude from Jacksonville.
You don't remember what he was saying? He said when he heard your video or he heard your stuff, he said, I don't know if you know it, but God was using you to speak to me and other people.
I think his name is Lee from Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. First time he'd ever called me, in fact.
And so I heard him say that. Then Macadamian, and then the young man Mike that you had on tonight when you called me. So them three different within a couple of days, them three different witnesses and people.
Witnesses.
When you say, you say, hey, I don't know. You say, I don't think I'm doing somewhere. I'm failing and I'm not doing nothing. And I would say, no, you're doing what you're supposed to do, because that's why I always used to say to you, and I don't know why, but I used to say one water, one plant, and God get an increase. So you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and you're connected to who you're supposed to be connected to. But at the same time, when you just doing what you're doing, when you think it's not enough or it's need to be more, that man, the guy was on, you know what I'm talking about now. He said he heard God speak to him through your video. He wasn't even on the phone with you like now. It wasn't even live. And then I heard Macadamian, who you call him, say he said something about, I think he had his granddad's Bible. Yeah. He didn't go to church much, but he was like, he didn't know this side of you. Like he know you had this side of you.
That's where I think I'm failing.
So, but then Mike was another witness that said, I needed this conversation tonight when you called me, and then myself, you and him were talking, and he was like, this is what he needs, So people are being impacted. They being drawn, so it just, but you ain't real. You're not me, so all us got our assignments. And so this is why you connected, So all you can do is focus on what you can do.
Okay. what am I not doing that they don't see that something else, like do the thing, the ordering my steps. You know what I'm saying? Something something draws me to do to fight, whatever it is. You say, I remember when I first met you, I said, man, I ain't trying to fight. You said, man, maybe it's just in you. He said, maybe it's just in you. I'm like, I don't think so, but I'm not looking at it that way. But when people are watching, I'm trying to think, what is it that makes them think that I would even, I use my real, Greg is not my given name, but Greg Dawson is close to my given name. His Greg is just short for, other than Chagret. But I'm like, I wouldn't play with that, because like I said, I'm real flawed. But I would think that in my flaws, they would be able to see something else is pushing me through.
I mean, I can understand where they're coming from because most likely they focus is on what they're facing. It's like what gets them on the call with you. So the thing that gets them on the call with you might not be the spiritual aspect of it, or God, but that becomes tied in, it's tied in to you as well. So I don't think they be focusing on that. They be focusing on what they facing or what they going through, and they trying to get some insight or some direction on that. But the spiritual aspect is what you always notice, because I've always heard you say, I can't help you with that. You said that over, you've been saying that for years.
Okay, there you go. Not several, a whole bunch of times.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I say to you is, or I'm asking you for not just the benefit of what you're doing here, but for other guys who are going to see this once this gets chopped up and produced, is because it's not even to them, I would tell them it's not about you if you want to get this, because the battle is not with flesh and blood, but spiritual wickedness, right? In high places.
Yeah, principalities, power, spiritual wickedness, rulers of darkness, and high places. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So if it would be improper for a person such as me to tell people something I can try to tell me, get you some spiritual guidance, but as it relates to you, what I would say is call Brother Jaami.
Or Rev.
Or Rev.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't going to Rev for the most part, which I don't understand why not.
Saying as far as go to the building?
The building, or just, people have.
Well, you got to meet, the time we in now, it's kind of you got to meet people where they at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I've said it to people. You got to meet them where they are. And people have told me.
And they may come looking for one thing, and this is what seems to come out, and more than what they're looking for comes out, and that's a good thing.
But why do they not? What am I doing improper that they don't see that nobody really? Because you heard them say they hear certain things, but nobody ever said, Greg, I don't get people to ask me about spiritual compasses, my spiritual compass at all. But I know you're saying they're not focusing on that when they see or call me.
Well, it's a part of you, but it's not the thing. It's not the aspect that resonates with. It's the thing that stand out for them is, think about it. You don't like I quote more word in the scripture because that's what's in me. You got that in you too. You quote it here and there, and you reference certain sayings, but mostly what comes out of you is case law,
football,
statutes, certain stuff, those things come out of you because that's what's in you more. But all that's intertwined with spiritual things, your relationship with God, the word, that's there too. That's a part of your fortitude. That's a part of your strength. It's a part of your makeup. But it might not be the thing that they, like with me, if I'm speaking a real speaking, they can identify with that right out the bat. With you, is, you know what I'm saying? It's cloaked with the thing that they came to see you for.
Okay,
So,
I met you and didn't even know that this was a part of you. It took
mm-hmm,
our relationship of growing together to
mm-hmm.
realize that. And then I had the benefit of meeting your great brother, who's no longer with us, but it came together.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, and I don't even want them to look to me to do what you do for me or what Rev does for me. Um, but I would think that they would have noticed it on, because I ain't gonna try to lead nobody astray, because I'm like I say, I have no problem saying I'm flawed, but I'm trying to figure out, okay, what about what I'm doing or have done does not indicate his presence? Or if they want to believe in something else, a presence of something much greater than me. What am I not doing right? Uh, as far as people understanding it, in other words, with me, it had to start there. If you think about it, Jaami, I may have been the one that throwing hands in the visual sense to people, but it didn't start with me. It had to start before me, right?
You said in your ending, you said, what am I not doing right? But it's not about right or what?
Wrong.
Wrong, but it's about what?
Clarity.
What's the whole thing you say?
Oh,
'Cause
sometimes
I
it's not
don't know
about
it
right
like
or
you.
wrong. More importantly, it's about clarity. You never reach resolution if you're not willing to engage in honest
Damn,
dialogue with what
you
you
close
know.
out with that.
Yeah.
That go to that it's in that. It's in that wording, what we talking about. So they're not about right or wrong when we were talking with the young brother tonight, because many of them they need beyond what you're giving them. It's like, and you
Way
be
beyond
right. They need they
way beyond
need
that.
they need more, and so it just you have a piece of what they need, and then they have some more stuff that's needed that you know they got to somebody else like myself, Rev, or whoever can help them in them areas as well. You know, and you help them to the extent that you can. You know, because you got it's like what your assignment be so more. You be everybody that be hitting your line for all of the same stuff. So and it's more weighted, it's tilted towards why they call more than the other side. But the other side is part of the reason you say, I hear what you're saying about this, but you need help over there as well. But I don't know why they don't notice. I guess that's your question.
My question to you is, what do I could tell them it's not about them, it's not about me, it's about this. What do I do to become a better steward
Doing
for
what
the
doing what you're doing now. You said something earlier, somebody saying, hey, I be in Bible study. I study. See, people don't know the same way you study law, the same way you get on researching and stuff, that they don't know that you research in the Bible, biblical stuff. You looking up things, you go to Bible studies, you connect with those that are ordained and in that field to ask questions, to get counseling, to get direction. They don't know all of that, but I mean, that's part of your journey that if you decide you could, maybe you need to share that now because you see a lot of them need help in that area as well. So it ain't like you just dedicate shows to that particular aspect. I don't know if you did a show and it just specifically in that area, you know, because that's not what they coming for, but it's some of what they need help for with that we found out over the years, right?
oh yeah. And that's and again I'm here and we're X number of years in. It's like I, the disappointment is within me because for a guy to say they had no idea I had any biblical knowledge is shocking to me, bro.
Because they don't hear you quoting or spitting the Bible like you do, the law and the statutes. So I can see why they can say, well, I ain't know you was that sharp in the Bible as well, because y'all weren't having a biblical or a spiritual conversation because you focus on what you focusing on. So you stay in the context of what they call you from. So everybody don't get to know that side of you.
I got to do better. I'm not here to preach anybody, but I got to do better if I'm not.
You ain't got to do that. I mean, it's a union. It's an intertwining of both because it's a part of your life too. You just ain't been sharing it like to that extent.
And I want to make sure that I'm clear that I'm not denying him in front of no man. Okay, I would never
Mm-hmm.
do that. And it bothers me that young folks don't see that. Older people don't see that. Maybe the older person. Well, I guess I shouldn't say the older person because he did say that, right? He said, "I heard it," and he must be on his own. Would you think I'm correct when I say he's already on his own path, and so it could have spoken.
The young man we were talking to tonight.
No, the older guy yesterday, the one that says he heard me through the video. That's the first conversation he ever had with me.
So I know. So what you mean? Is it that he's on his own path? What you mean?
He's on his own journey. He's already had a journey or a relationship with God or what have you that would have
Mm-hmm.
allowed to.
Cause you remember I was trying to get I wanted clarity on what specifically made him say that statement. You remember me asking him that?
Yeah.
Because I wanted him to clarify because I just was curious on like what was it that you heard through whatever video he watched that make you say you heard God speaking to you through Greg. That's what he said.
You do this next week or next time. I want to, if it's okay with you, because it's your episode. I want to know if it's okay with you if we were to reach out to the different guys that we know that you've spoken to with regards to this.
Yeah, because because you know what's missing. What's missing is what they able to express about their path and their journey right now, and how they feeling and what it made them feel. Because I caught with them on the phone, we caught glimpses of it. So it would be great for that to take place because it'll hold more substance. Because we can't speak for them, but they can speak for themselves. And
that's okay with you? You had no problem with the?
No.
Okay. Okay, because it's your episode.
I mean, because organically, how many calls that are getting they just not recorded?
Yeah,
I'm just saying they just don't get recorded, but this happen all the time.
Definitely,
it's common.
Terabytes of information, a whole lot of episodes, a whole lot of shorts. You'd have enough to have about 1,500 videos of our conversations.
Mm-hmm. And most of all them brothers, when they get off, what I heard them say, so this letting you know, it ain't or what I'm not doing right. I hear what you're doing right because they express how thankful and grateful and the gratitude that you doing what you do. They say that. They say that for themselves, and they know with a surety that because your material and YouTube channel and pages out there that you are helping several other people because how it has changed and impacted their life. That's what all of them be saying. The young man tonight, Macadamian, and the dude that was just happened to get on the phone with you for the first time, and I heard him saying what he's saying. They say the same thing, man.
So they know that the presence is there. They don't know that the presence is there.
They bear witness. But we had to, I'm able to, with the young man Macadamian, I was, and with Mike, helping them clarify, like hearing where they're at and just kind of fine tuning it. So I hear what you're saying, but you ain't hearing where you are, where you're at in your awareness and where you are connected, even though you're feeling like you're disconnected.
Right.
Or some things are missing, or you haven't yet arrived, or we all are going through a lot of the same struggles, because the young man said it felt like the weight of the world was on him. Confusion, you mentioned different things.
It bothers it really it disappoints me in myself. It hurts me in myself. It bothers me because I never had any delusions about immortality. Young folks need to know that there's something else. It's like, and I know
What
you.
you mean? What you mean when you say you never had no delusions about immortality?
I don't think I'm gonna live forever. I think it's supposed to be passed for.
Okay.
I think, like I told you before, I don't think I've done a good job of explaining that 99% of what I talk to him about is a journey I've already had. You would know that. Rev would know that. You would know about what I lost when I lost my relationship with my son. You would know about a lot of the things I went through in between then. I mean, it may not be important in the sense, I won't say important. It's not something I would talk about in the course of me discussing child support or any of that stuff, or even, how to shepherdize a case, look at a case. But it's
Well, I think what it be great in this aspect of having this conversation is, uh, some people want to see or put you. Some of them will put you in the pedestal like a Christ guru, right? Even though you're not asking nobody to put you on them pedestals, and you be like, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. So it just let you know, hey, hold up, I'm human. I got some scars. Hey man, I ain't arrived yet. I'm continuing. You're always a student. You're of service. You know what I'm saying? So, and then you ain't get here overnight. And I when I go back 15 years back, and in our beginnings, you done 10x from that time to now. Your paperwork game, your ability, a lot of stuff. So you put in a lot of work, and you still are. But
every day, got to.
yeah, so
Well, man, I appreciate it, and I appreciate you doing this. And we'll figure out the next day. I'll get to try to round up some of the guys to, because I'm sure when they see this on my page and your page, they're going to be like, well, "What's Greg doing with that above his head?" And it's like, if they ask that question, then I know I've done a bad job.
well, all you gotta do is look it up.
And that's all I'm trying to do is sharpen other people with based upon my experiences, man. That's
I
all
mean,
that.
that's what you're doing when you come in and you speaking and you saying what would Greg do, and being the example. That's iron sharpening iron, and I hear the gratitude, I hear the gratefulness, I hear the thankfulness on every time you put me on the call. I can tell it's like it's been a lifeline for the brothers.
I appreciate that, man. So tell everybody else about you, and we'll shut it down, and I'll get to packaging it up because I think this is very important. I think it's an important part of the GD walk. I think it's going to hopefully lead people to more interactions with you, because that's
Well,
what I think is needed.
absolutely, I'm looking forward to it. Brother Jaami, I've been around for a minute. Got one of my first shots doing some of this some time back when uh, Greg had another podcast that he was going. Had an opportunity to be on that, doing a show, and that was with Brother Jaami during that time period. But now we just first episode, Proverbs 27:17, iron sharpen iron, with Mr. Greg Doss. So looking forward to doing more of this, and just building and adding to the community, man, just helping what we can help at.
And for those who are watching, once we get them set up, you ain't gonna see Greg Doss as much. I don't think you need to. You need to talk to your brother Jaami.
Oh, we're gonna see you on what you do now. Come on, man.
Hey
Come on.
man, you know me. I give
Come
it to
on.
where it needs to be given.
No, it's just it's some it's walking this path. You're gonna have to have something that's gonna be a source of strength, and I
Absolutely.
think that's all you're saying. So, and I think maybe some places you've seen where brothers struggling with that. So, and they need to have a conversation. From what I heard, they have appreciation for it, and it's a lack of a brotherhood, accountability, lifting the brothers up, encouraging them and strengthening them in that area to go along with whatever they got going on in, their cases and stuff. So it's a union that's needed.
Absolutely, man. Well, I appreciate you for bringing us on. You want to take us out with anything? And
Matter of fact, it's a scripture that say how good it is for brethren to dwell in unity. So we're trying to unify, unite. That's what the iron sharpen iron is, man. Passing the torch.
hey, man, I appreciate it. You got to sign us out. It's your show.
All right. This brother Jaami. We're gonna sign out. First episode with Mr. Greg Dawson on Proverbs 27:17. Iron sharpen iron. Peace, love, and light.